Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Sun City in Arizona. Hope you're having a super fantastic, sparkling day. I don't know what it is this morning. I just feel super energized, and I got all this excess energy, and we've been out for an awesome walk this morning. It has been a super fantastic, sparkling start to the day. See, look, I even have the sun sparkles going here. Like, move them around me. I got to figure out how to block these off. But the sun sparkles right now. Who cares? So today is Tune Up Tuesday. Welcome to the day. What's Tune Up Tuesday all about? Tune Up Tuesday is all about anything to do with music, with making tweaks and changes to processes, to making changes in your business, to making changes within yourself, whether they be whether the changes are massive or if they're just tiny, just itty bitty little changes. For the last 30 days, I have been on a health challenge, improving my health, which I think I have accomplished. I'm feeling a lot better, a lot more energized, definitely taking note of what I am eating rather than just, oh yeah, that sounds good, or in the evening, it's like, oh, I really don't feel like cooking, and either not having anything or just reaching for whatever's at hand, like a snack bar or something like that. But now I'm more conscious of what it is I'm eating, and I'm planning out meals a lot more too. And I have to tell you a success story. Yes. So last night I had top sirloin fillets. So I had the tops, and I remembered before I cooked them, I remembered that, Brad used to take it out and put it on the counter to get it up to room temperature, and would sit it there for about 10 to 20 minutes. And I thought, okay. So I put it on the counter, came and did my evening live, then went back 20 minutes later, and then opened the packet that the meat were in, and there were two. They were about 4 to 6 ounces each one. They were very delicious. Oh, damn, I gave away the end of the story. And got the seasoning out, the Lowry's seasoning, and put that on both sides while the grill was cooking, it was heating up, my George Foreman grill. While that was heating up, I seasoned the steaks, and then by the time I got all that done, and I had remembered first to reach up and open up the fan on the ceiling so that I didn't have any risk of setting off the fire detector, which was only like, what is that, about 4 feet away. So I got all that set up, got them in there, put the steaks in, and I didn't put them one in front of the other. I put one kind of each on each side, so they kind of overlapped in the middle there a little bit, and set them on for, because these are a little thicker than 3/4 of an inch, so I set them for 4 minutes, and I thought, we'll see how that goes. And because I'm still learning this cooking time thing, because if you say 2 to 4 minutes, I'm still like, what do I want, 2 minutes or 4 minutes? So I put it on for 4 minutes, and while that was on, I have some San Francisco sourdough bread, which is so good, and I typically don't eat bread, but I just had this huge craving this past week for it, so I've just been taking a couple of slices each day and not sitting and gorging on the whole thing, because I really do like bread. But I took a couple of slices, put some butter on it, and thought that would go well, got some tomatoes out and got them ready. And by the time I had the plate ready with my vegetables and with my salad and my bread, the steaks had already cooked, and I had pulled the plug on them and moved them to a plate to sit. And they got to sit for while I finished the rest of the meal. And then I sat down this beautiful meal, and a dog right here. In fact, the dog's nose was more here. Her little nose was more sitting here, and I'm sort of like, do you mind? And then she sort of like pulled back. But yeah, when I first sat down, her nose was here. Like, she really wanted to see what was on that plate. She did get a couple of little tiny pieces, I will tell you that. But I sliced into these steaks, and they were almost as good as Brad's. And I thought, that is the best steak I have ever cooked. And so now I have to remember that little process of sit it out on the counter for 20 minutes, 10 to 20 minutes, then season it, then cook it, let it rest, which I have been doing the resting portion of it. And then you can sit and enjoy. But I have to tell you, I was pretty proud of myself. That was the best steak I have ever cooked. It was full of flavor. It was juicy. It was tender. It was a perfect medium rare. I should have taken a photograph of it. Now I have to try and do that again. Hold on. But I got my steak. I was pretty proud of myself. And so I was sort of like, that's as close to Brad's steaks that I have gotten. And I thought that was pretty damn good. So I'm pretty proud of myself this morning for cooking those steaks last night. And Yes, there's none of them left. They were so good. I ended up eating both of them. And like I said, they were either, I think no, I'd have to go find the little sticker thingy. But I think it was either just under a pound or about a pound of meat. It was good. It went down very well with my salad. Yes. And I have to eat vegetables with my meat, because if I just eat the meat by itself, 20 minutes later, I'll be hungry again. So it went down very well. So I was pretty proud of my cooking skills last night. So I'm sort of like, okay, we got to try this again. So we're making tweaks and changes to our cooking process as we're preparing food, and having the grill and the air fryer have made a huge difference, because I don't have to use a lot. I don't use any oils when I'm cooking foods anymore. So it's cutting out some of the fats out of the diet, but you got to have the right diet, the right fats as well. But it means that there's different foods I can now have a little more of, because, you know, usually it's, if I want sweet potato fries, I can cook sweet potato fries, because I can just cook them up, slice them all up and then all that into fry shape, and put them in the little basket that goes in my air fryer and air fry them. And I don't have to submerge them in oil. So it makes a difference when I've got the air fryer and the grill. It's just made a huge difference. So I was like, you know, just little tweaks and changes. And that over the last 30 days, that's what I've been doing during this health challenge, is making just small adjustments each day to help me improve my health. We've been going out walking longer, and it's just making the adjustments. And making the adjustments so that we leave earlier in the morning so we can have a longer walk. And now I'm sort of like, as I'm out walking today, I'm like, but what happens next week when everything starts at 8 a.m. instead of 9 a.m.? See, I've got all the 9 a.m. stuff finally sorted out. I finally worked out that when I start work at 9 o'clock, this was my process up to then, because my wake-up calls are at 9 o'clock Mountain Time. And when we go into daylight saving next week, Arizona doesn't do daylight saving. So now we're on the same time zone as California and Oregon, basically the Pacific time zone. So now my meetings are going to be starting at 8 a.m. again for the next 8 months. And I'm sort of like, this is ridiculous. So now I've finally got that morning time from when I get up at 5 a.m. to when I sit down for the wake up call at 9 a.m. I've finally got that area all worked out, and everything else where we're leaving earlier in the morning, going for longer walks. Next week, I lose an hour on that for the next 8 months. I'm sort of like, no, I just got it worked out. So it's kind of annoying, and you just finally get something worked out, and now you're going to go back to another way for 8 months. Now I've got to work on it all over again. But it's, again, making those little tweaks and changes. And yes, you do have daylight. Here in the States, we've got daylight starting on Sunday, the 13th of March. And so it is going to be a case of, is there going to be changes made to your routines, especially like if you're like me living in Arizona, and now all of a sudden you're in a different time zone, because we don't do daylight saving here in Arizona, but the rest of the mountain time zone people do. So now I have to remember that I'm going to be on Pacific time for the next 8 months. Why do we even have daylight saving? I don't even know why. Why? Can somebody tell me why we have daylight saving? I don't see the point. I really don't. But anyway, enough about that. So just make small tweaks and changes. Do challenges. If you've got like a 30-day challenge coming up, go do it. I have one on my Carb Manager app that I use where I'm recording all the food, and that is to have you get points each day for different things that you report. Like, did you do your 10,000 steps today? Did you drink all your water today? Did you, because you set in there what your water intake is going to be, and you get points. Did I accomplish my water intake today? Did I achieve my exercise goal today? Did I achieve my step goal today? Did I achieve my food goal? Did I keep below my net carbs for the day? And so you're making all these tweaks and changes so that you can stay within these boundaries or accomplish these other goals. And it's really cool. And then every 4 weeks, it's like, I think it's every Monday, they start a new challenge for those that roll off. And so, of course, they started one on Monday of, you want to take part in the next 28-day challenge. So like, sure, why not? Because then I can go in each morning and I can see points. And it's, can I do better than I did the last 4 weeks? But it's just also seeing that thing across the top that says, congratulations, you have achieved X number of days under for net carbs, which means you haven't gone over your carb allotment for 22 days or whatever it was. I think it was 22 days. I can't remember. but they're keeping track for me. Like I just put the information in and they go, hey, congratulations. You are now on day whatever it is. I'm just bringing it up so I can see what day I'm on. But, you're on a 23-day streak for net carbs. So for the last 23 days, I have not gone over my carb allowance for the day. So to me, that's a huge win because I am a big carb thing. I need more protein in my diet than I do carbs. So, like with the breads, and I love my breads, especially fresh baked breads. Brad and I at one point we actually wanted to do a bread making class together, where we would learn to work with the yeast and knead the dough and make rolls and loaves of bread by hand, not in a machine. We did have a bread maker at home, that was our cheat. We loved the fresh bread out of that. But yeah, so I'm on a 23-day streak for net carbs. So now because I'm paying more attention to the foods that I'm eating, what can I enjoy, which is kind of a cheat or a reward food, but it keeps me under my carb allowance for the day. So it's been fun learning that and been making those tweaks and changes. So when you're making tweaks and changes, if you want to go for a massive goal, you've got to be in the right mindset to meet that massive goal. I know that, this is my massive goal over there. The big massive goals over there. And to get there, one step at a time. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. How do you get to the top of the stairs? One step at a time. Everything is one step at a time, one thing at a time, one small thing. And I don't have the book. There's a book called The Compound Effect, which talks exactly about this, about making one small change and doing it consistently. Another small change, do it consistently. And the compound effect that it has is massive. So to reach my massive goal that's sitting all the way over there, I got to start over here and just make one small change at a time. Doesn't matter how long it's going to take me to reach that goal. It's just one small change at a time that I'm going to do consistently over the next few weeks, months, days, whatever, to accomplish that goal. And that's all it is. So that's it for Tune Up Tuesday. Go out and have a super fantastic sparkling day. Oh, and your Tell Your Story question, what are some of your favorite hobbies and pastimes you have had over the years? Do you still have some of those hobbies and pastimes from your childhood? Have they followed you into adulthood like me with genealogy? I started when I was a teenager, and here I am over 40 years later, still working on genealogy and loved it so much, turned it into a business. So yeah, I kind of did that. Reading's a huge pastime for me. Have loved reading since the day I learned how to read. Even when I didn't know how to read, I still read. My parents used to have one of those pianos where you would put the rolls in it and you'd have the pedals and you press the pedals backwards. I can't remember what it's called. You press the pedals backwards and forwards, and as the music scrolled from one roll to the other, it played a tune on the thing. And you had these 3 little buttons across the front that you could press the buttons, and it would have the keys to press as well. So you could see which keys were being used. So you could learn to play the piano that way. But my way of playing the piano was to put the roll in, and I was about 4 or 5 when this, because I was definitely at school at the time. So from the age of like 3 or 4 through to when we got rid of the piano, I loved playing this thing. And we had this box that had all the rolls in it, and all the top ends were up, so you could read all the labels. The only label I knew how to read was Jingle Bells. That was the only label I knew. What it said was Jingle Bells. And that was the one I would always go to, because I had no clue what any of these other ones in the box were. Occasionally I'd put them on to try them out, but then I'd always end up playing Jingle Bells. So Jingle Bells was my favorite one because I could actually read the label and I knew which song it was going to be. But anyway, so I always loved music. So, that's another pastime that I've had. I love my music. I like playing my music. I love the classics from the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, 90s, some from the 20s, some from the 2010s. So, going through the different decades and stuff. And there's the occasional song that's come out these days that I kind of go, that's not bad. But I'm more into I like my country music. I do like my country. Mind you, I grew up listening to country music, but I also grew up listening to songs from the 70s, the 80s, the 60s. We even had some records that had songs from the 50s on there. Love that. Love the music from all those eras. So, and it didn't matter what type of music it was. The only stuff I really don't listen to was, there's some Okay, there's a couple of songs done by heavy metal bands that I like, but I'm not really keen on the rest of their music. So I'm not really into heavy metal, but there are a couple of songs that they've done that I like. Yes, it's more of their ballads ones, but there are some. Yes. But anyway, I'm out of here. Go tune up your day, tune up your life, tune up your business. Just go tune up something. Make one small change today. Start by making one small change today, and let's get it done consistently. That's your challenge for today. Anyway, I'm out of here. Have a super fantastic sparkling tune up Tuesday, and we'll catch you guys back here later on this evening around 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Hey, Conera. Oh,